A megacity, 10 million people, 20 million, 30 million or more packed into a sprawling urban landscape. Tokyo, Mexico City, Mumbai, Sao Paulo, New York. When the zombie apocalypse hits one of these population centers, you're not facing hundreds of zombies, you're facing millions. Can intelligence overcome numbers? Could you actually outsmart a zombie horde in a megacity, or are you just delaying the inevitable? Welcome to Survival Theorem, where we analyze survival with strategy and logic. Today we're examining whether brains beat numbers in the world's largest cities. Zombies are mindless, but there are millions of them. You're intelligent, but you're one person in an ocean of infected. Can you think your way to survival? Let's find out. First, let's establish what we mean by megacity and what you're actually facing. A megacity is defined as an urban area with a population over 10 million, but some are far larger. Tokyo has 37 million in the greater metro area. Delhi has 32 million. Shanghai, Sao Paulo, Mexico City, all over 20 million. These aren't just cities, they're human anthills, density like nowhere else on Earth. When the outbreak starts in a megacity, the infection spreads exponentially. Patient 0 becomes 10 infected within hours. 10 becomes 100 by the end of day 1. 100 becomes 10,000 by day 3. Within a week, you're looking at millions of zombies. The sheer population density means the virus spreads faster than in any other environment. And here's the critical problem. In a megacity, everything you need to survive, food, water, shelter, escape routes, is surrounded by millions of zombies. There's no avoiding them, no hiding from them. They're everywhere, every street, every building, every subway tunnel. The entire urban landscape is a zombie-infested maze with you trapped inside. So can intelligence overcome those odds? Let's break it down. The first principle of outsmarting zombies in a megacity: understanding zombie behavior and exploiting it. Zombies are mindless, but they follow patterns, predictable patterns, and predictability is a weakness. Zombies are attracted to noise. They hear sounds and move toward them. You can use this. Create noise in one direction to draw them away, then move in the opposite direction. Basic distraction. Set off a car alarm 6 blocks away. While the horde moves toward the noise, you move away from it. Simple, but effective. Zombies are attracted to light at night. They see light sources and move toward them. This is both a threat and a tool. Light gives away your position, so you move in darkness. But you can also use light to lure zombies into traps or away from areas you need to access. Set fires in buildings to draw them in, then collapse the building or seal the exits. Zombies cluster around food sources. If they detect living humans, they congregate. This creates dense swarms in some areas and relative emptiness in others. Your strategy is to identify where the swarms are and avoid them. Use binoculars or drones if available to scout ahead. Never go where the density is highest. Zombies don't use tools or solve problems. They can't open doors, climb ladders, or navigate obstacles that require reasoning. You can. Create barriers they can't cross. Use elevated positions they can't reach. Move through spaces they can't navigate. Your intelligence creates options they don't have. The second principle: mobility is survival in a megacity. Standing still gets you killed. You need to keep moving, but strategically, not random flight. Calculated movement. The megacity is a three-dimensional maze. Streets, buildings, rooftops, subway tunnels, sewers, bridges, elevated trains. Most people only think in 2 dimensions, moving along streets. That's where the zombie density is highest. You need to think vertically and underground. Rooftops are highways in a megacity. Most buildings in dense urban areas are close together. You can move from rooftop to rooftop, staying above the street-level hordes. This requires planning. Map out routes. Identify which buildings connect. Bring rope or ladders to bridge gaps. Rooftop movement is slower than streets, but safer. Subway and sewer systems are networks beneath the city, dangerous because they're enclosed and dark, but less populated with zombies initially. They also connect across long distances. You can travel miles underground, emerging far from where you entered. The risk is getting trapped in tunnels with no escape, so you only use them when you have good intel and backup plans. Elevated trains, bridges, and skyways in some cities provide above-ground routes that avoid street level. If these structures are intact and not too crowded with zombies, they're fast movement corridors. The key is never committing to a single route. Always have multiple exit options. You're thinking 3 moves ahead. If this route is blocked, where do you go? If that building is compromised, what's your backup? Intelligent movement means having answers before you need them. The third principle, exploit megacity infrastructure. These cities have resources that smaller cities don't, if you know where to look and how to access them. Water infrastructure. Megacities have massive water systems, treatment plants, pumping stations, reservoirs. When the city falls and power fails, most water systems stop working. But if you can access the infrastructure, you can potentially get water. Reservoirs might still have stored water even if pumps aren't working. Wells and underground water sources exist in some cities. Knowing where these are gives you sustainable water access. Food storage and distribution hubs. Megacities have massive warehouses and distribution centers for supermarket chains. These facilities store weeks or months of food for the entire city. Most survivors don't know where they are. They raid the supermarkets, which run out fast. You skip the supermarkets, you go straight to the distribution centers. Fewer people know about them. More supplies, better odds. Power generation. Some megacities have multiple power plants, including backup facilities. If you can reach a small auxiliary plant or generator station in a less populated industrial area, you might be able to generate power. Limited power, but enough for lights, communication, or charging devices. Power is information. Information is survival. Communication, infrastructure. Cell towers, radio stations, internet hubs. If you can access these and get them operational, even temporarily, you can broadcast messages to other survivors, gather intelligence about safe zones, or coordinate with rescue operations if any exist. Most survivors can't do this. You can, if you plan for it. Medical facilities and pharmacies. Megacities have major hospitals, research facilities, pharmaceutical warehouses. These are high-risk targets because everyone wants medicine. But if you can access them strategically, during low zombie activity periods with good escape routes, you get critical medical supplies. The fourth principle, use the horde against itself. Millions of zombies is a problem, but millions of mindless creatures following the same behaviors creates opportunities. Zombie stampedes. When something attracts a large group of zombies, they move as a horde, stampeding toward the stimulus. You can trigger stampedes and channel them. Use noise to draw a horde into a stadium or enclosed area, then trap them inside. You've just removed thousands of zombies from the streets. Repeat this across the city and you clear corridors. Zombie funnels. Narrow streets and alleyways create choke points. Zombies flow through them slowly, bunching up. If you need to cross an area with high zombie density, trigger a funnel. Create noise that draws them into a narrow space. While they're bottlenecked, you move through areas they've emptied. Zombie distractions. Use fires, alarms, or even other survivors as bait. I'm not saying sacrifice people, but if other groups are making noise and drawing zombies, you use that window to move. It's harsh, but survival is harsh. Zombie barriers. Zombies press against obstacles but don't problem solve around them. Create barriers that funnel them away from areas you need. Overturned vehicles across streets. Collapsed buildings blocking access. You're reshaping the urban landscape to control zombie movement patterns. The fifth principle, information superiority. You're smarter than zombies. Your advantage is knowing what they don't. But that requires gathering information continuously. Scout constantly. Use elevated positions to observe zombie movements. When are they most active? Where are the densest swarms? Which areas are relatively clear? Information about patterns lets you predict and avoid. Map the city. Not just streets, everything. Water sources, food caches, safe houses, danger zones, zombie densities, escape routes. You're building an intelligence map that gives you options others don't have. Monitor for other survivors. They're both opportunity and threat. Organized survivor groups might offer safety in numbers or trade. Desperate individuals might attack you for supplies. Knowing where other people are and what they're doing keeps you alive. Watch for environmental changes, fires spreading, buildings collapsing, floods. These change the urban landscape and zombie behavior. Adapting to changes faster than others gives you advantage. So, let's walk through a realistic scenario. You're in a megacity when the outbreak starts. How do you apply these principles? Day 1. The outbreak is chaos. You're at work or home. News reports of attacks. You immediately recognize what's happening. You don't wait. You don't gather possessions. You grab your emergency bag if you're smart enough to have one, and you move to a pre-planned safe house, somewhere elevated, defensible, low profile. You stay quiet. You watch from windows. You observe zombie behavior. Where are they concentrating? What attracts them? You're gathering intelligence while everyone else is panicking. Day 2 through 7. The city descends into hell. Millions are infected. The streets are full of zombies. You stay hidden during the day when zombies are most active. You move at night, using darkness as cover. You're going to critical infrastructure. Water source first, then food cache. You're setting up supply points across the city in different locations, never keeping all your supplies in one place. You're moving via rooftops and subways when possible. Avoiding street level. You're fast, you're quiet, you're smart about routes. You have 3 backup plans for every move. Week 2. Most survivors are dead or have fled. You're still alive because you outthought the Horde. You've identified patterns. You know when certain areas are clear. You've created noise traps that draw zombies away from routes you use. You found other intelligent survivors, small groups. You share information, but you don't commit to large groups. Large groups make noise. Noise attracts zombies. You stay mobile. You stay small. Month 1. The zombie population has peaked. Millions of them. But they're spreading out, chasing diminishing food sources. Some areas of the megacity are less dense now. You identify these areas and use them as movement corridors. You've set up multiple safe houses across different districts. You rotate between them. Never predictable. Never staying in one place too long. You've established a routine that works. Scout in early morning. Move during midday when zombies are less active. Resupply in afternoon. Fortify before night. Month 3. You're still alive. Most people aren't. You've outlasted them because you were smarter. You understood zombie behavior. You used the city's infrastructure. You stayed mobile. You planned ahead. But here's the reality. You can't stay in the megacity forever. Eventually, supplies run out. Infrastructure collapses completely. Zombie density, even with your strategies, is still overwhelming. Your goal was never permanent survival in the city. It was survival long enough to gather resources, intelligence, and strength to escape. You've identified escape routes, highways out of the city, boat access if it's a coastal city. The moment conditions are right, you leave. You head for lower density areas, rural regions, places where you can actually build sustainable survival. So could you outsmart a zombie horde in a megacity? Short term, yes. If you're intelligent, prepared, and ruthless about decision-making, you can survive weeks or even months. You use zombie behavior against them. You exploit infrastructure. You stay mobile. You gather intelligence. You plan multiple steps ahead. But long-term? No. The numbers eventually overwhelm intelligence. You can't outsmart millions forever. Resources deplete. Exhaustion sets in. One mistake and you're dead. The megacity is a death trap. Even a smart survivor recognizes this. The truly intelligent strategy is using the megacity as a resource extraction point and staging ground. You survive the initial chaos. You gather supplies and intelligence. You identify other capable survivors. Then you evacuate to a location where long-term survival is actually possible. So here's the final verdict on outsmarting zombies in a megacity. Survival rating: 3 out of 10 long-term, 7 out of 10 short-term if you're intelligent and prepared. The keys to short-term survival: understand and exploit zombie behavior patterns, maintain mobility using vertical and underground routes, leverage megacity infrastructure for resources, use the horde's size against itself through funneling and distraction, gather intelligence constantly, and adapt. Stay small and quiet to avoid attention. Plan multiple backup options for every move. But remember, surviving in a megacity is temporary. The end goal is escape. The smartest survivor is the one who recognizes when to leave. And that time comes much sooner than you think. That's the survival theorem on megacity survival. You can outsmart zombies, but you can't outsmart millions of them forever. Intelligence gives you time. Use that time to get somewhere intelligence and sustainability can both work. Stay alive. Subscribe for more tactical survival analysis. Next time we're examining the best and worst cities for zombie survival and what makes the difference. We're also continuing vehicle and equipment breakdowns. Stay sharp, stay smart. And remember, in a megacity, your brain is your greatest weapon. But even the smartest person knows when the odds are unbeatable. Know when to fight and when to run. Stay alive. Retry Claude can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. Sonnet 4.5.